All right, everybody, welcome back. Brofluent back in the house. Took a humble, what, 4 week vacation now? 4 week
Bro,
vacation?
we're busy guys, man.
Yo, we're just moving. We're always moving. Y'all don't
We're always
know,
moving.
stuff like this goes on, and we do what
You
we
got to
do, but
adjust.
we're
You got to be able
exactly,
to adjust, bro. Come on.
exactly. And we're here for
We know
y'all
this.
on Veterans Day. Shout out to all the people that served in the military. Congrats to well, not congrats, but appreciate everybody. Thank you for your service. And for y'all that don't
Absolutely.
know, today, as you see in the bottom of your screen, we have a guest. It is my brother, Elbiz Rivera, who served in the military, is a veteran. So give him a round of applause to everybody.
Thank you.
Elbiz Rivera.
He served in the United
Fantastic.
States Marine Corps, and obviously we appreciate everything he's done. And we got a few questions for you, man, especially the first time on the show. He's been geeking to get on. Had to show some nepotism and get my brother on there for everybody.
Gotta get my opinion on some little debates I see you guys talking about.
Always, man. You gotta do what you gotta do. But now that we're getting into it, I do want to take some time out, like we said, because it is Veterans Day. So, Elbiz, I do have a few questions for you. Number one being a story I actually don't know. What was the reason that made you serve in the military and in the Marine Corps specifically? And can you just go on and tell us about your experience a little bit, the positives that you had and what came out of it?
Okay, well, reasons why I guess I joined movies. Full Metal Jacket was probably the main movie that why is besides me, because anybody that has seen that movie,
a classic.
I was actually asking me and say, wait, that made you want to join the Marine Corps? But yeah, I guess my honest answer, yes, it did. It was something about the challenge of it. I saw all the other branches. I looked into all the other branches. There might have been other better branches for other things, but it was just something about the Marine Corps, the uniform. I don't know if you guys will. I don't want to call my age out there too much, but you guys might be a little too young for this commercial. But it was a commercial back in the day, and it really sold me. It was like a guy that's running through all these little obstacles, and at the end of the commercial, he fights the dragon. I don't know if you guys remember that. He kind of slices the dragon with the sword. Mm-hmm. So that commercial back in the day for the Marine Corps was huge. So that right there, he pretty much slices the dragon, does like this little spin on fire, and he's wearing like the blues, the dress blues with the sword. I saw that and I was like, oh my God, that's it. It's a wrap. It's over. That's sold. So that was pretty much it right there.
That's awesome, man. Because I know the commercial I remember growing up with was the one where they were all standing at attention, especially across the Grand Canyon. I know that was a big one when people had that one.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking
but
about.
That was the one they showed all
the
landmarks. Exactly. That's actually the Silent Drill team. They used the Silent Drill team for that. So
that's awesome.
I will say this, bro. I know, I consider myself pretty tough, I think, but I definitely ain't tough enough to go in the military. That's a fact, bro.
It does take a special kind of person.
Yeah, like I know I'd be like, damn, this is ass.
Like any branch, especially for boot camp, yes. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna discredit any of the other branches. I can't do that. I will never do that because mad respect to all of them. Mm-hmm. But I will give props to the few and to the proud because we are the few and the proud. And main reason why I say that is we can actually join. After my boot camp, I can go to any other branch of service. I can go to the Army, go to the Air Force, go to the Navy, and I don't have to go to the boot camp. I just pretty much join. Now, if you did eight years in the Army, Air Force, or Navy, and you now want to join the Marine Corps, you start fresh. You have to go to boot camp. Mm-hmm. So that was another main reason. I was like, no, if I'm going to ever switch it up, then I'm just doing one boot camp. I'm not doing two, so I'll take the hardest one now.
It's smart. That's smart. That is smart. With that being said, what did make you want to serve, though, in general, other than just joining the Marine Corps specifically? What drove you to just want to be a part of that and really risk your life for, the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness of others, especially, with the times we've been going through recently and, everything like that. What would you basically say to someone that's considering that right now?
You have to really want to do it. Point blank. I've seen people that schooling and all that. I get it. I understand it's the benefits. School get paid for. I do understand that it's a good benefit, but not everybody that goes in. It's not that you don't have the opportunity to do it, but depending on what job title you have, you might really not have the time to do it. So you really have to really want to be in the military. Family time is limited. So if you're married, most likely you deploy, that's 6 to a year that you're not seeing your family. So if you're not really mentally set up for that, it's not, I don't recommend it. I think it was something that I wanted to do, period. It wasn't, I think the challenge of it, the getting down and dirty, all muddy, and seeing the obstacle courses and, I don't know, shooting the M16 and the throwing a grenade and the grenade launcher, all those things were things that that I wanted to do it. Now, when I was deployed, don't get me wrong, it's a whole different story when you are somewhere and now the ish gets real. It's a very big difference. But I don't know, I think it was a pride of the uniform. You have your days like any other job that you're like, why? I need to get out of this. But then there's other days when, like today, I've been out already for 10 years. But there's days where I sit and I look and I see little things and I'm like, man, like I want to go back in. Like where do I sign? Like let's go. So I think the brotherhood and the bond that you do make in boot camp and throughout, depending on who you meet, it's awesome. I mean, I got people that are lifelong brothers. We went through a period. It's like a fraternity. You know what I mean? You have like you guys in basketball.
Right.
You guys will forever have that bond. It was 4 years that you guys were together, lived together, ate together, partied, did all these things. So imagine when you have that same exact bond, but now it's more of a life and death kind of situation, especially when you're deployed. That bond is, it's way deeper. I know people that we haven't spoken in a few years. We come, hey, what's up here on Facebook and I like here and there. But we know that if we ever see each other like in person, what's going on is going to be a huge hug. Holy crap! Like it's been a while, and we're not going to talk about like little things. We're going to be like, man, do you remember? Yes, yes. One of my friends, actually, funny story. My wife sometimes gets a little upset when I say it, but he made a joke, and he actually did say that we've been, how we never ended up in jail with some of the things we did. It's beyond us, you know what I mean? But it was just things that you do. And now that I look back at it, I'm like, man, that's crazy. But it's that brotherhood, it's that bond that you make, and it's just awesome.
I feel that.
Yeah, definitely, bro. That's a fact. So you definitely really have to want to do it because I remember being in high school, and some of my boys, right? I think like almost 5 of them were like, yeah, we're gonna go into the military. We think after high school. And none of them went into the military because none of them really wanted to actually do it, right? They're just like, damn, what am I going to do after high school? I guess I'll join the military. But you can't really say, oh, I guess I'm going to join the military. Like, you got to want to do it. That's why none of them did it. So it's definitely true.
Right.
Yeah, it's not a guess. It's something that you have to already have, you have to really want to do it. Yeah. I saw people in boot camp that had the money, the parents had, were well off. They didn't really have to do it. But there was something they wanted to do. There were some other people that did it out of necessity. Like, I don't, I have nothing back home. What else am I going to do? This is my way out. They did it. Me, I could have gone any other way, but it was something I wanted to do, and I did it. I actually know people that wanted to join and were gung-ho the whole first few years. Like, yes, this and that, Marine Corps. Came to the first 4 years and, hey, are you re-signing? Yeah, nah, I'm out. And me, I was the first one to say, well, I don't know if I'm going to re-sign. I'm going to take my first 4 and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, yeah, I'm doing another 8 years. I'm doing another 4. So did 8, got out, did my little time. This time I wish I was back in. There's other times that I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I got out.
Mm-hmm. I got you. Well, with that being said, us being a sports podcast, we also want to be able to drop some knowledge on everybody and show love to
Let's
our
get to it.
veterans, especially when they're, in our midst, family for me. So, it's a big thing to do. And again, happy Veterans Day to you. Happy Veterans Day to everyone out there. And thank you all for your service and everything you've done. But with that being said, we have been gone for a while. And a lot has happened, especially in the NFL, which is what we are going to start on. We're going to start with something fun, though, because we can't all just sit here and be like, oh, did you see that game from week 5? Oh, you see that game from week 7? Oh, that game last week. Blah, blah, blah. So we're going to go into Bleacher Report's power rankings.
Which
after week
I'll tell
9.
You now is going to be whack.
It is kind of whack.
I haven't even seen it, but I'll tell you right now, it's going to be at least 5 different teams that need to be switched.
At least 5, you think?
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll tune in. For those who don't know, obviously we've done our own power rankings on here, but it's hard to do that all the time, man. It really is. You can't rank 32 teams week in, week out like that. But we'll try to do that again for you, but right now we're going to stick with Bleacher Report. So how are y'all feeling? You trying to go 32-1 or 1-32?
Well, 32 we already know.
Yeah, we do know 32.
That's true. Go start at the top. Like go to 32.
Yeah.
Go to
start at the top and work to the bottom. All right. So
let's not hurt our feelings right off the bat.
Yeah, not yet. Can't drop that info yet. We gotta keep it quiet. Keep it quiet on everybody. They don't know. But so we want to go first 5, first 3, first 1, and go one by one. What we feeling?
Go 3. Go 3.
Top 3. All right. So your top 3. Number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs.
As it should be.
Number 2, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
As it should be.
And number 3, the Green Bay Packers.
As it should be. I like the top 3 by Bleacher Report.
I don't know about Pittsburgh.
Where do you want?
Pittsburgh?
I don't know about Pittsburgh.
Let's see.
Roethlisberger, he don't get me wrong, he's doing his thing. I actually have him on fantasy and only started him one time because Watson is doing his thing for me. So
listen, Big Ben hasn't put up like great numbers, right? But that team, first of all, they're not built for Big Ben right now. It's all about that defense. If you are 8-0 and the only undefeated team left, right, you should be number 1. But the fact that there's a team with Patrick Mahomes on it makes that team number 1. But I think the Steelers are a clear number 2. And who did you say third was again?
Green Bay. Green Bay was third.
And the Packers have their flaws, we know, with their defense, and against the run especially. We saw against Dalvin Cook. That boy was just – I've never seen a team get more man.
Cost me money that day. Dalvin ran away with my money that day.
A parlay killed me with them. But so that's their flaw. But with Aaron Rodgers and the way he can sling that thing, I think it's clear and a great performance. I know the Niners were, they're injury riddled all over the place, but I think that's the right top 3.
Okay. Elbiz, how do you feel? So you said you're cool with the Chiefs at 1. You want to move the Steelers back, I'm assuming?
I'd probably put the Packers ahead.
The Packers ahead of them, and then put the Steelers.
Yeah.
Well, even though we haven't got into it yet, do you think any other team is better than the Steelers, or it's just the Chiefs and the Packers?
Any other team right now better than the Steelers? No. The record, I can agree with Tom that the record kind of speaks for itself. I just don't think they've gotten some close calls.
I 100% agree with you.
And let me tell you something. If Big Ben plays, who would he play? If Big Ben played the Buffalo Bills on a playoff game and he starts off like he started off last game, it's a wrap.
Ooh,
I agree with that.
The wrap. You
I
can't. That's where my problem is with Pittsburgh. That Roethlisberger is he's good, but but he's good late. If he does that in the playoffs,
See, this is why me and him are related, man, at the end of the day. Because while I agree with Tom, it's Kansas City, Pittsburgh, and Green Bay. I still would put Pittsburgh ahead of Green Bay just because of the record. But
Right.
I have the same issue with the Steelers. Even though they're 8-0, it's like there's so many different issues with them where you look at their schedule and they haven't really – I mean, they beat in Baltimore, but other than – they beat in Baltimore and Tennessee.
Though.
Yeah, like they're squeaking by in these games and they're winning ugly. And I mean, It's still a win, but they're giving that vibe of we're not gonna do it come playoffs and we're getting by right now.
Exactly.
So,
but I will say this before we move on to the next three.
Mm-hmm.
Right, he brings up the Buffalo Bills, who obviously had their best performance of the year against the Seahawks. But we know Josh Allen's like this, right? Sometimes he looks like MVP, other times he's not accurate, right?
Mm-hmm.
But again, Pittsburgh is about that pass rush. That pass rush is legendary this year. About Watt, Dupree, all those boys. That's the reason they win games. It's not all on Big Ben's shoulders. It's not like it was AB, L. Bell, and Big Ben, years ago. Now it's that defense is going to get stops and turnovers for us, and Big Ben just got to play good football.
And I agree. Big Ben. I don't think Big Ben's playing that bad. He's 18th in passing yards, which obviously that shows you he's not. He's not who he was.
Mm-hmm.
He's still Big Ben, but he's not who he was. And they did have a scare with Dallas. And I'm happy we agree on the Chiefs and the Packers, and we don't have to talk about them because the Packers are best offense in the NFL, and Chiefs are probably up there too.
So,
and Pittsburgh got lucky with that field goal that Tennessee missed because if not, they would have had that first loss.
Definitely right.
Right, and they almost lost. And like we said, they almost lost to Dallas.
There was a pass interference call against Cowboys, or they lose the game, 4th and 10.
Right, and I don't understand since we're on that, I don't understand why they went for it on 4th and 1 on a pitch to James Conner when you had the game. Just kick the field goal and win the game. Like, why are you trying to you think the first down's gonna end it? I wish they lost that way.
It's 4th and 1. I hate when head coaches or offensive play callers do this. It's 4th and 1. You need a yard. You're gonna pitch it 3 yards back.
Yeah,
he's got to get 4 more.
100%.
Just run that thing up the gut or play action or something, but don't pitch it 4 yards back. I hate when I think coaches outthink themselves.
I agree. Well, with that being said, let's go into the next three. At 4, they have the New Orleans Saints. At 5, the Buffalo Bills, and at 6, the Baltimore Ravens.
That's horrible.
You don't like it?
Horrible. Yeah, no.
I mean, I'm not a fan of it, but what do you got, Elvis? Where do you think we're moving people? Keep in mind, Seattle hasn't been said, Tampa hasn't been said, Tennessee hasn't been said, and other teams haven't been said either.
I'll go first because it's right on my fucking tip of my tongue right now.
Go for
Buffalo ain't the 5th best team in the NFL.
Yeah, no.
That's a fact.
No.
They are not the 5th best team in the NFL. If you think that, you haven't won. You're hooked on what they did last week against Seattle. I saw that team barely beat the Jets.
I think Seattle's better than
I
Buffalo.
think Seattle is better.
I'm gonna sip my tea. I'm just gonna have my tea.
You're
Buffalo's
who was
good.
4? The Saints. The Saints were 4, right?
Saints were
Buffalo,
4, Bills were 5, Ravens were
That's
6.
fine. Saints are 4. That's
yeah.
fine. Baltimore goes to 5. Baltimore is better than Buffalo. People are sleeping again on Baltimore. Oh, Lamar's not playing like he used to. That team outplayed Pittsburgh, just lost in the end. That team is still very good. Listen, I was rooting against them against the Colts last week. The second half, we couldn't hang with them. It was like we were on 2 different fields, bro. First half, yeah, we're balling. I know Phil Rivers sucks. That's why, but that Baltimore team is really good. Defense is top 5. They've scored 21 points in 20 straight games. They set an NFL record. That team is very good. They could beat Pittsburgh. I know people don't think that because Pittsburgh ain't no, but I think they could beat Pittsburgh. Buffalo ain't 5. Buffalo was 8 or 9. And who was the last one you said again?
That was Buffalo and the Ravens. Those are the next 3.
Yeah. So
and then teams we still haven't said, to keep it in perspective, are Seattle, Tennessee, Tampa, Indy, the Vegas, the Rams, teams like that.
Tampa's definitely better. Not even close.
I got the Ravens ahead of the Bills. I got Tennessee ahead of the Bills.
Woo!
Tennessee is a sleeper team that a lot of people are sleeping on. Tennessee beat a decent Patriots team last year and won me some money. Tennessee is good. Tennessee is really good. It's just people are sleeping on them. Ravens, as much as I love Lamar Jackson, and I actually did wish the Jets had picked them up when they took, I don't know, whatever that guy is that we have right now. I think people are starting to know how to play him.
Oh, Lamar.
As long as you can control him in the pocket, it's a wrap. So
100%.
I'm kind of torn where to put the Ravens. I don't know if I don't even know if I want to put them ahead of. I don't see them where they're at. I don't see them too far behind. I just don't see them too far. I think if I had to pick those two, and the Ravens, yeah, I can actually the second three, I can leave the Saints there. I'll probably put Tampa and then Tennessee.
Okay.
See, that's hard for me because now I'm gonna blow it up on everybody real quick, and it's gonna suck for y'all, but I gotta do it.
Please enlighten me.
I think the Buffalo Bills should be 4, and my reasoning is they're 7-2, and their 2 losses are to Kansas City and Tennessee. I agree that Tennessee is very underrated, though. I just don't think they're top 5. And then the next few teams I all have in a lump. I think Seattle should be higher. I might put Seattle ahead of the Saints because I think this is the same old Saints team we see every year. Even though they've struggled because they haven't had Michael Thomas, but we always see them come out in the regular season and we assume they're going to be this great team come playoff and be a Super Bowl contender. And I know damn well they're going to fold, and they're giving me those signs already. So why would I tell you they're the 4th best team in the NFL? Now, Buffalo just went and executed an amazing game plan against Seattle. I've seen the same issues with Lamar, like Elbiz is saying, for the Ravens, where I don't know what they're going to be come playoff time because they fold too. So who am I going to put ahead of the Bills? Like Tampa? Tampa just lost 38-3 to New Orleans. So how can I put them ahead of New Orleans? If I'm putting Buffalo and Baltimore ahead of Buffalo and Seattle ahead of New Orleans, how could I put Tampa ahead of them? You know what I mean? So my sleeper's Tennessee, but I'd probably go Buffalo, Seattle, and New Orleans or Baltimore. That's a toss-up. I feel like they're on the same playing field for me.
Yo, I can't
agree
put
with that. I
Seattle.
can agree with New Orleans, Baltimore.
I can't put Seattle in front of New Orleans after what I've seen the last 3 weeks from Seattle. That defense is horrible. They're on track to give the most yards ever in a season.
But have you seen anything from New Orleans that impressed you?
What they just did to Tampa.
See, but I think that's an anomaly too. I feel like that's more a knock against Tampa because if we look at it, can I tell you where the first 6 drives of where New Orleans started with the ball were?
I watched the whole game.
Yeah, no. So you saw where they start. They started at their own 35, then their own 34, then Tampa's 35, then the 50, then Tampa's 27, and then their 38. So how do you expect?
So why are you not giving credit to the Saints defense?
Exactly.
I feel like because I feel like Tom Brady did a lot of stupid shit. Like why are you trying to force it to AB down the field on your own 5-yard line on a 2nd and 8?
It was
like I feel like it was a bad game plan by Tampa.
Oh, it was very – when you look at it, and he was forcing the ball to AB, and every pass early was a long pass.
Yeah.
Like, yo, why are we throwing a 5-10-yard slants, getting first downs? And they ran the ball, if I'm not mistaken, I heard this, 4 times the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
that
so.
was an NFL record. They
And
only rushed the ball 4 times.
Maybe it was a game just
Tampa,
to get
right?
AB ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they did take that for granted. So, I mean, I think that's only my question with him. I hope the Saints turn it around, but I feel like it's not being on Drew Brees. I feel like their team has been a lot of, Alvin Kamara in the passing game.
See, how good is Alvin Kamara?
Oh, the guy's good. Nasty, yeah.
He's good. I mean, I don't think it's.
Come on.
I think it's what I said. It's very schemed up.
That kid is nasty.
Our next 3 is Seattle at 7, Tampa Bay at 8, and Tennessee at 9. We've already touched on all these teams. I personally think that's the right order for those teams. Maybe Tennessee can go ahead of Tampa just because of what just happened in Tampa, but I think they're just integrating Antonio Brown, and they tried too hard to do that. So what do y'all think?
Nope.
For Tampa to be so low,
I do not.
I mean, for what they were supposed to be up there. All these, you got Brady, Gronk, Fournette. Now you got Brown. I mean, you're supposed to be
right.
You're supposed to be top 5, easy. That's why I don't put them above Tennessee.
Do you put them over Seattle?
I don't even put them above Seattle.
So out of those 3, you'd have Tampa as the worst?
Yeah.
Because then I feel like this is where it ends. Because when we get into the next 3, it is all question marks. Like the teams left on the board are like the Browns, the Bears, the Rams, Raiders, Colts, Cardinals. Like these are all teams we have left there.
Yeah.
So like I feel like this is the end of that top like contending tier.
I got Cardinals over the Bills actually over the weekend. I got the Cardinals beating the Bills.
I know Tom's going to agree with you because Tom loves Kyler Murray.
I think the kid is going to play. I think he's going to be off the hook, but we'll see.
Freaking good is Kyler Murray. Come on.
He's good. He's good.
Did you watch
I got the Cardinals. That's why, because that's why. I think those 2 quarterbacks being rookie, the way they played, I think this guy's going to come out.
Kyler Murray was – let me throw it over here. Wait,
just to clarify, I don't put the Cardinals above the Bills. I'm just saying this weekend, the Cardinals, to me, are gonna.
Let me.
You're saying they're gonna beat them this week?
Yeah, I'm just saying they're gonna beat them. I'm not putting them above the Bills.
Oh, all right,
no,
all right.
I don't think. I think this guy needs another year for me to be putting him in that combo.
Tom, get it off your chest.
No, you tell me what you think of these 3. Then we'll drop some knowledge on you and your brother here. Go ahead.
Which 3?
The 3 you just said. Tell me what you think about it.
Seattle, I think it's the right order. Maybe you could switch Tennessee and Tampa, but Tampa has more talent. Tennessee has a lot of questions. I have Seattle in my top 5, so obviously I think they're better. But I would probably go, you'd probably say New Orleans, Baltimore, Tampa, then Tennessee.
Let me tell you something. Let me drop some knowledge on you.
Let me tell you something.
Okay? You and your brother here are you're being prisoners of the moment, right? Tampa just had the worst loss you've ever seen against the Saints. That defense is top 5. They have more weapons than any other team. They have a quarterback with 6 rings. They just got AB into their lineup, right? So obviously we want to show our new shiny toy off, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to get him deep balls. We want to get him involved early. I knew that was going to happen too, and I didn't like it. Don't stop giving the ball to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and Gronk is just starting to get going now, catching touchdowns. They dropped one against the Saints. That Buccaneers team, I said it before, you can switch them with the Bills right now. They're a top 5 team still in football. The Bills should be in this 3. And Tennessee is fine. They're AFC South, rival, my Colts, and that we play tomorrow, Thursday night, big game. Mm-hmm. But I'm fine with Tennessee, but I'm not okay with Tampa being in there. They're a better team than that.
So you think Tampa should be higher? What do you have them in your top 5, or do you have them just outside?
5, 6, that area.
So would you take them over New Orleans after losing to New Orleans twice?
No, New Orleans would be 4, and then the New Orleans fine at 4. I put Tampa at 5 or 6.
So then you have Tampa over Baltimore,
Buffalo.
Seattle, and Buffalo.
Buffalo, yes.
Damn.
Any team that has a good defense and just so much as breathes on Tom Brady's ear, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
This is true. I think
That's why Tennessee played them last year. The way Tennessee played them last year, with the good coach, Hall of Fame coach. That's why I don't see him above
that, especially a fast pass rush is tough for Brady because he's 40 and whatever. But I think with all those weapons and with the game plan not being as bad as it was, they didn't run the ball. They ran the ball 4 times the whole game. Hand that ball to Ronald Jones. He's a good back. Get Fournette more involved. Lean on the run game first, then leave Brady the easy on the back end.
Look, I agree. I do agree Tampa is better because I feel like before this game we were having them as a top 5 team easy. And I agree with that. I just feel that I have no problem dropping them behind these teams because of how bad you looked. And I don't know if we're going to go through – because basically what you said happened, and I do give you credit. Like you did say after a few games, probably 5 games, they're going to get it going. And that's exactly what happened. But we have seen these major gaffes against the Bears where we don't know what down it is. Against the Giants, we gave them a pass for that game, but they really didn't look good. And now you get smoked by the Saints and you lose, you get swept by them yet again. Like Drew Brees is trying to tell you who the real GOAT is. No, I'm playing. Drew Brees is not. But I'm saying that like Drew Brees is trying to tell you who how much better he is than Tom Brady in the process. And I feel like 8's fine for that. You know what I mean? I just feel like just because of everything that we've ignored, you're probably on paper a top 5 team, but I can't put you there solely because of these repetitive mistakes that might come back to haunt you.
I hear where you're coming from. I still think Tampa's that team, though. I think nobody will want to see them around playoff time with Brady and the way he'll, prepare for a team and stuff. But, we can be prisoners of the moment and drop them back. It's fine.
So,
all right.
So Tennessee, right? Just a quick question, right? Tennessee.
Yeah.
Full healthy. Tampa, full healthy.
Oh, that's easy.
You take Tampa?
Oh, that's easy.
I'd probably take Tampa too.
Yeah.
That's easy.
I mean, I like Tennessee too. I mean, like if you're talking Tennessee or – I mean, at the end of the day, if you're talking like Tennessee or Buffalo, you might take Tennessee. If you're talking Tennessee or Baltimore, you might take Tennessee. If you're talking Tennessee or Seattle, you even might take Tennessee. But Tampa fully healthy, like –
I don't like that matchup for them.
Yeah, I don't like that matchup for them either.
We know their defense isn't good, and if you're not going to get after Brady, he's going to dice you up with all those weapons.
I agree. Well, we're gonna do the next 6 now to make it thing because we feel like that's the end of the tier of contenders, right?
Yeah.
We can all agree on that.
Yeah.
So,
listen, I'm just gonna say they lost to the Dolphins, but don't sleep on the Cardinals.
they're in this next 6.
Don't sleep on the Cardinals, man.
At 10, we have the Dolphins, which I think is kind of high.
Hey,
that's an overreaction.
Hey, can you give your boys some credit about Tua so far?
Hold on. We gonna get there. We got the Dolphins at 10, the Cardinals at 11, the Colts at 12, the Raiders at 13, the Rams at 14, and the Browns at 15, all at 5-3. Every team I just listed is 5-3.
I'll just tell you this: Browns stink.
Yeah, the Browns can keep dropping.
Browns stink.
Do they stink though?
Yeah, they stink.
They're about to get Nick Chubb back.
Y'all lost to the Raiders like 12-6. Get out of here, bro.
Before they lost Nick Chubb, they had everybody, and they stunk.
Yeah, and they stunk.
5-3, you stink. I feel like Baker stunk. I don't want to say the team stunk because
Miles
Garrett is.
But
I think
once again,
that's
we
the
go back
difference.
to who did you really beat? You beat the Jets. That's one. Anybody that beats the Jets this year.
Did the Browns play the Jets?
Yeah.
They beat the Colts, which is a good win for them, but we played like shit.
But it's the Colts.
Let
me see. I feel like they beat the Bengals.
If we're talking about
the Raiders.
And the Bengals was a really good game. And you're playing a rookie quarterback.
I'll give you. They got smoked. They got smoked by the Steelers. They beat
that was an ass whooping.
They beat the Cowboys when they had Dak.
What's that? Cowboys.
The Cowboys
I'm sorry,
NFL.
I'm having a really hard time just fast forward all the way to last place. Even though my team is the worst team in the NFL, compared to what Dallas has had, you're right there, Tamar. You're right next to us.
Oh yeah,
Dallas. They stink.
We're really. Ah man,
Dallas
it's just one win. And in all honesty, with one win, if the Jets had one win right now, I'd still, and not just because it's my team, I'd probably put them ahead I'd probably put them 31st out of 32. And Dallas was 32nd because Dallas had everybody on that team in the start of the year, and they still suck.
I might suit up. I might walk on the practice field, and they might put me as a starting QB. Because that's the way it looks like what they're doing. Like, yeah, you're practicing, right? Gilbert, you're playing QB for us today.
That Gilbert kid didn't look bad, though.
No, and I'm not hating on him, but I mean,
he's not Ben DiNucci. Ben DiNucci sucks. That kid's bad. That kid was bad.
I believe he's from James Madison. Get this kid off the field.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey,
Y'all can go to
try.
free agency real quick and say, hey, anybody, come play quarterback for us?
Yeah, that's crazy. But, I mean, hey, I hear what you're saying about the Browns.
To the list. I'll go to the list. Miami, I've been telling y'all they're my sleeping pick to win that division, and I still like it because the Bills are going to fall off. I still like Tua rising up the division, getting them that win. The Cardinals are right after them. We just saw them have a shootout. What a great game. 2 young quarterbacks look so damn good.
Yes.
But in that game, I was listening to a thing, and I'm saying if you can't score a touchdown in the fourth quarter, you're not going to win football games. And the Cardinals could not score a touchdown in that fourth quarter, and that's why they lost.
Well,
and I was listening to somebody, I forget who it was, and they said it, and I was like, that makes a lot of sense. Like, you could put up 14, 17 real quick, but when that fourth quarter comes around and you're not putting up points, that's when teams come back on you and get W's. But Dolphins, Cardinals, Rams right after them, probably Colts, and then get the Browns out of here. Probably the Raiders.
Raiders and Browns?
I like the Raiders above the Colts.
Raiders are better than the Browns.
I don't understand how – talk about being prisoners of the moment. How are the Dolphins better than the Raiders all of a sudden?
Bruh.
Who have the Dolphins – I have a serious question. Who have the Dolphins beat other than Arizona?
Dolphins beat the Raiders. They played right now.
No, but I'm saying who have the Dolphins beat other than the Cardinals right now? I mean, they beat the Rams. I get that week. So 2 weeks or
Jets. They beat the Rams. They beat the Cardinals. I'm just trying to think of how.
I'm saying any notable teams because everyone else they lost
Rams
to.
and Cardinals are good teams.
Okay, now you're talking to someone that's also been saying that, wow, you've been the big Kyler Murray fan. I've been telling you the Cardinals aren't for real.
Okay, I'm telling you that team is for real. They might have a chance at winning that division with the way the
But they've lost to Detroit, Carolina, and now Miami.
They're still taking lumps, but that team is so explosive they could beat anybody.
I get it on talent, but then I can tell you the Panthers are explosive at 3-6.
Get at it. Teddy Bridgewater ain't explosive.
Panthers?
I don't think I
love some Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater is good, but come on.
Look, to put what I'm saying to bed, I don't understand how the Dolphins, just because of 2 wins, can leap over the Raiders and in some cases the Colts. Because I feel like we all know if it comes to the playoffs, while I don't believe the Colts are real contenders, when it gets to playoff time, do we really expect the Dolphins to compete better than a team like the Colts and the Raiders when the Raiders have beaten the Chiefs, the Saints, the Patriots? They lost to the Bills by 3. I mean, they got smoked by the Bucks, but they beat the Browns, and they just beat a decent Chargers team, even though that Chargers team can't hold on to a lead for anything. The Raiders are beating competition, and the Dolphins played the Cardinals one time, and now all of a sudden they're a top 10 team in the NFL.
I'll say this. I'm not even trying to hate on the Raiders. I love what Gruden and them are doing. That team is playing well.
Yes.
I just don't think – and Carr's having his best season. Now, I don't think they're letting him have really just letting him, free reign. I think they're you're throwing here, you're throwing here. And he's having his best year, but I don't think they're explosive enough to be better than the Cardinals, honestly, right now, or the Dolphins, because the Dolphins' defense is real. I think they might lead the NFL in turnovers, causing turnovers. It seems like they're scoring a touchdown every week on defense. I think that team is good. The defense is good. And with Tua, last week he balled out. First week was rough. In his first
so
game
far, so good, exactly.
But they won because of the defense. And last week, that boy held up with Kyler Murray and got them a W. I like them a lot, especially because they're going to get some easy dubs in that division.
Did you hold up Kyler Murray if he threw for 300 and ran for 100?
I mean, he balled with Kyler Murray.
Are you talking about Tua or I thought you were talking about the defense.
No, Tua. Talking about Tua.
Tua did a good – look, I like Tua. Yeah. He's done a good job. But the thing I'm saying is when it comes to Tua, I still need to see more because in one game you exploded and you had a great game. And in another game you threw under 100 yards and your defense managed to get you a victory because Jared Goff was incapable of being a quarterback. So
100%, but that's why they're a good team because that defense is real.
But I feel like we've talked about consistency with some of these teams, right? And when it comes to consistency, I've seen the Cardinals consistently lose to bad teams. I've seen the Colts be consistently inconsistent with Phillip Rivers. I've seen the Raiders consistently compete in every game except one. I've seen the Rams consistently have a good offense, but they got caught. And that Rams game I also think is an anomaly because I think that defense, while they did game plan kind of well for Tua, when you're seeing a new quarterback, your game plan's kind of washed when you don't know who you're seeing.
Look at it from Tua. This is his first NFL game. He's got Aaron Donald looking at him, and that Rams defense that's coming after him. People know when you're playing a rookie QB, all you do is blitz, blitz, blitz. That's all they say. Every time you play a rookie, just send everybody at him. And he made the Cardinals pay for that.
But I'll also give you the example of Justin Herbert, who found out he was starting 2 minutes before game time because of Tyrod Taylor's punctured lung against the Kansas City Chiefs and balled the hell out. So in that case, I don't want to sit here and say, do the Chiefs suck because they had a close game with the Chargers because they couldn't game plan for Justin Herbert while he did ball out. The same way I'm not going to look at the Rams and say, oh, that's a huge win when you tough one out. He didn't have that good of a game and you still couldn't game plan for him.
Yeah, but if they won and Tua didn't have a good game, now what if he does have a good game?
But woulda, shoulda, coulda. That doesn't mean anything. That's not the game we're playing. We came in football, Tom.
You're saying the same thing.
I'm not giving you coulda, woulda, shoulda. Herbert came out, did his thing, had a close game with the Chiefs. They lost. That's what happened. Tua came out, didn't have a good game, and they won. So
the Chiefs always have that. The Chiefs always have that one game where it's like, wait, what happened? Where are the Chiefs today?
The reason why I like Miami, that all the time.
No, the Rams, but the Rams, come on. The quarterback is one of them days.
That's why they're not that good.
What are we going to get today?
Mm-hmm.
We were saying they were a top 5 team at one point, though. That's what I'm saying. We did have that. At this year, when we had them ahead when they were coming out and winning games early in the season, we did say that offense looked explosive.
I mean, they got
So they got to figure things out too.
The reason why I like Miami is Miami started off with Fitz,
and
they weren't doing that bad.
No,
they're 3-3.
Fitz is another. Have a good year, have a sucky year.
Yeah, you
have another good year, then you have another sucky year. That's Fitz. Which I was in shock that he actually started off as good as he did this year.
Yeah.
But Miami, like I was saying, their defense kept them up.
Can we talk about those? Can we talk about those Dolphins games though? Because they lost to the Patriots and they lost to the Bills. Then they beat the Jaguars. Lost to the Seahawks.
With Fitz.
Yeah, with Seahawks. I'm talking about straight with Fitz. Then they beat the Niners when Nick Mullins was starting, and they beat the Jets 24-0.
And they beat the Cardinals.
But no, but you're talking about Tua. I'm saying when Tua came in, they beat the Rams and the Cardinals, right?
But we're saying
I'm saying with those two teams that we just brought up, right? The Rams and the Cardinals. Mm-hmm. I feel like we can all agree that you can kind of say with that Rams game, you don't know who you're game planning for because you've never seen the kid, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in the Cardinals game, you're playing a team that has consistently folded against top-notch talent.
My thing is, you're saying, oh, we haven't game planned for him like he had a good game. He didn't have a good game. Like normally you say, oh, we couldn't game plan for him.
So if you're gonna, okay, so we're gonna put it aside and say forget that and just say, all right, I'll get around for that. So the defense gets credit for the Rams game then.
100%.
Okay, so this is my point though. They have one good win.
That's fine, but they're like this right now.
But that makes them a top. But that makes them a top 10 team.
I think they're.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like
the Colts are not that good. As a Colts,
I don't want to put the Colts there. I'd rather put the Raiders there. I've seen the Raiders.
I'm not mad at you putting the Raiders there, but I think if the Raiders and Dolphins play today, the Raiders are a better team. The Dolphins are a better team.
You had it right the first time. See, you were so close. No. You had it right the first time. The Raiders are a better team.
The Raiders' defense stinks.
It doesn't stink. Max Crosby's up there in sacks. They had a good game against them.
Tua and that offense to score points against the Raiders, and I think the Raiders have a tough time scoring points on the Dolphins.
I think this Chargers game is going to be telling. The Dolphins play the Chargers
I'm
next week.
looking forward to this one. I
think the Chargers finally get one. I think the Chargers finally get one.
It wouldn't shock me. The Chargers, I know their record stinks. They're not actually a bad team, though.
They're not a horrible football team.
Right? No. Every game they're like this. We know how many times they lost by 3 points. It's like insane. And with Herbert playing the way he is, he's a real player. So the team isn't horrible. I can see where they would beat the Dolphins. I think Dolphins will win, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Chargers pulled that one out.
And to be fair, December 27th, we have Dolphins at Raiders. So we will see what happens there.
I like it.
We will see what happens there. I'm going Raiders, even then, even when Tua gets in the swing of things.
I'll say Dolphins, but all right, go on.
So the next ones are kind of just some bums. You have the Bears, Panthers, Eagles, Vikings, Niners. I feel like the Bears have to be there. They're the only team that has a winning record out of the rest of these teams.
They have them in that order?
Yeah, it's 16 Bears, 17 Panthers, 18 Eagles, 19 Vikings, 20 Niners.
The Niners fell way behind all those other people.
Well, they don't have. They're going to be missing.
No, I get it.
G. Yeah.
Oh no, I get it. Missing Jimmy G, missing a lot of players. But come on,
I'd actually put the
below
Chargers
the Eagles. Below the Eagles.
The Eagles beat them,
tough.
but the Eagles beat them.
It's the Eagles.
The Eagles suck. Don't get that.
Oh my god.
100%.
How are you first place? Listen, that's another thing. How are you first place? And if you win the division, somebody has a way better record than you has to go play you at home.
I know, that's insane.
That sucks.
Well, that's another thing we can talk about.
The
NFL is talking about expanding the playoffs even more because of COVID, and I don't even think they should do that.
I don't want to see that. I don't need to see a team that doesn't belong to be playing in that time of the year playing. Like, I don't want to watch the freaking – can't even think off the top of my head, like, who's a middle-of-the-pack team. Like,
we're already going to get the Colts and the Browns in the playoffs, it looks like.
Right. Like, I don't need to see the Browns really there. I don't need to see that. We saw what a team like the Steelers do to the Browns.
Right. It's going to be a horrible situation if that's the case. But going off that, I mean, I'm cool with the Bears and the Panthers.
Yeah.
The Eagles are –
I got the Panthers above the Bears.
The only thing with the Bears is the Bears are the only team that has a winning record left. They're 5-4.
I mean,
this is true.
I think the Panthers are a way better team than they.
I would agree.
They're so good. I hate the fact that the Jets let Teddy Bridgewater go, and we kept Flacco. I mean, what in the hell were they thinking?
I agree with us. The Panthers are a good team, and that coach is a really good coach.
Yes, it's just they've had their moments, but Panthers are. I have them above the Bears. I mean, I get it with the record.
Yeah, that's the only reason I understand it. Because, I know the Panthers are playing better football. And if you're going to put the Panthers at 18 at 3-6, I don't know how you can't put the Chargers. The Chargers are at 26 at 2-6. And I feel like the Chargers are better than the Eagles.
I agree.
And the Vikings are in here. And, I mean, I get it. Like, I understand it because they've looked better since Dalvin came back. So maybe that'll give them life to maybe make a playoff run.
I was going to say that the two teams that I think are interesting in that are the Panthers because the defense is good. Bridgewater knows how to play. He knows how to manage a game, play well. And what's the team you just said? I just forgot.
The Chargers or the Vikings?
Oh, no, the Vikings. And the Vikings with Dalvin Cook are a different team.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know they're still not that good, right? But that team with Dalvin Cook can beat good teams like we saw at the – now, we know division games are always going to be close most likely, but that team – don't tell me that team couldn't sneak up on some teams with Dalvin Cook and that defense and Cousins
they can.
Okay football. Yeah.
And that's why Dalvin took our money versus Green Bay because Green Bay forgot that Dalvin Cook was coming back this week.
Dalvin Cook is that guy.
Yeah, and he's a top 5 back in the league. I'd
100%.
say. Yeah, the funny thing is the person that's teetering right now is Zeke. Ezekiel Elliott does not look. It's been bad. That's a tough one. But I mean. With these teams, like I feel like the Eagles, you're winning your division. You do have to be top 20, especially when I name the rest of the teams.
I got the Giants over the Eagles this weekend.
This is something that's ridiculous. Now that you said that, they have the Giants at 27 ahead of Detroit, Washington, Dallas, Jacksonville, and the Jets. Now I get Washington, I get Dallas. I know Jacksonville has no talent, but why Detroit? Detroit's 3-5.
I don't get Detroit. I don't get Detroit.
Yeah, but Detroit isn't good though either.
But Detroit's also behind
Denver,
Houston, Atlanta, Cincy.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I mean, when you're talking about that, it's just like who is.
I don't know who did the back half of these rankings because the back half
bad at football.
Is Jacksonville really worse than Dallas?
No.
Is Jacksonville worse than Washington?
No.
So You know what I mean? Like, how were they at 31?
Yeah.
We can all agree the Jets are the worst team. As two Jets fans, I think there's no argument that they're the worst team in the NFL right now.
Yeah, they are.
Sad.
I think Washington is actually next.
Yeah,
if the Bears want to move up, they need to start Trubisky, right?
You think so?
And then bench him. This is the way they're gonna win. This is the way the Eagles did it. Start Trubisky, bench the guy, start Foles coming off the bench, and that's when Foles does his magic. Foles is not a starter.
You might be onto something.
I thought a two QB system could work.
Yeah, Foles is not a starting quarterback. He is not a starting quarterback.
Yeah. You even see in the Titans game. In the Titans game, the Titans have no points going into the fourth quarter, and the game ends up being 24-17. Titans. Like,
that's insane.
Like, that's got to be just – I don't know why he's like that, but he is.
And we see when Foles is a starter, he's not the same quarterback.
No, he's not. He's good when he comes off the bench. Like, okay, I'm under pressure. Oh, I got 2 minutes to do something. Okay, let's do it. And then he's good. He's like when Eli Manning was in. Eli, a lot of people hated Eli. Why, I don't know. But you gave the ball. I would put any amount of money. 2-minute drill with Eli Manning. Oh, I put money on that any day. That guy was, for some reason, with the 2-minute drill, the guy was like incredible.
All right. And that brings us to the last question about the power rankings, and that is the New England Patriots are 3-5. They're at 21. Do we see the Patriots attempting to squeak into the playoffs?
No.
I'll go first. No. We just saw them play the Jets on Monday night. Why the NFL wouldn't switch that game is I don't know why. I mean, I get why because it's scheduled, but no, I didn't watch the game.
It was actually a really good game. It was actually a really good game.
But I'm not watching Cam Newton fumble and the Jets not move the ball. I'm not watching this game. I kept track of the stats on my phone, but no, the Patriots just aren't good. They don't have talent, and since Cam got COVID, the kid forgot how to play football.
Different person. Totally
different. And against the Jets,
he can't throw the ball.
He turned it back around against the Jets, but that's the worst team in the NFL. He plays a good defense. They don't have a chance. He doesn't have anyone to throw to either, which gives him an excuse a little bit, but he's still just inaccurate.
Mm-hmm.
No, with Buffalo being a good team and the Dolphins being a good team, I don't think they have a chance.
I agree, and I think it's for a different reason, though. I think it's their schedule the rest of the way. This next Sunday, they have the Ravens, Sunday night.
L.
That's a L. Maybe they'll beat Houston.
L.
It probably is a L, but that's a game. Let's give them
that. A game. Yeah.
When you see the rest of the schedule, I'm going to give them that one.
Yeah.
Then they play the Cardinals. I think that's going to be an L.
I wouldn't put it all on the schedule though. You don't have the talent.
Well, I mean, the schedule
not playing the same.
Well, I'm just saying that when you look at the rest of it, Ravens, Texans, Cardinals, Chargers, that's probably an L.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rams.
I agree with you.
L.
Now, if we had a different situation, right? We got Tom Brady on that team. You wouldn't be saying, "Oh, the schedule is tough."
This is true
because it's Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's
Bill
Tom
Belichick.
Brady and Bill Belichick.
But you got Bill Belichick.
I think this is also a tough schedule. I also think this is a tough schedule for Tampa, though, if they did have this. So I would question it. Yes. I just think Tampa's a very different team.
Yeah, it's a tough schedule, but they're not going to win. It's not just because it's a tough schedule. They're just not going to win because they just suck this year.
I think we agree, yeah.
Cam, listen, even when they played this last game against the Jets, the interception, okay, they got to go back. It's a tie game. I get it. You got to go get a field goal. There was one pass where I thought it was short. I was like, Cam, he's not going to make this. He's not going to make it. You could tell from the moment he threw it. Yeah, the guy caught it, and they got the field goal, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the pass, you could tell when he threw that pass. I was like, man, this is not Cam Newton at all. He's really putting almost everything he had into throwing a 20-yard pass, and he still came up short.
Right.
So the talent is just not there anymore for the guy.
And I'll ask
I thought he was going to get a contract out of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you might be a backup somewhere, but you ain't getting another contract.
I'll ask this because I didn't watch the game, as I said. What worries me even more was Joe Flacco moving the ball?
Yes.
On the
Patriots? I was ready to call Joe Flacco elite. It was ready to be I don't think you understand what he was throwing. Like Joe Flacco looked like
did.
it looked like 2012 in January. Like it was different.
He had those two passes. Crowder in the corner, I was like, that's a touchdown.
Brashad over top.
Yeah.
And even the pick, a lot of people came at him because he had someone open the flat and it was a stupid pass. But considering that we're an 0-8 team and we were up by 10, I have no issue with Joe Flacco just saying, fuck it, and airing it out downfield,
100%.
even though it's an interception and it's a bad pass and it's a bad
trying to get a
read.
W.
It's bad football. It was like that could have sparked life into the Jets,
right?
And that could have been a defining moment if he hits them and that's a touchdown. So I have no problem with that. Like we suck anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's not like if we go 1-15 or 0-16, it's going to be such a massive difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would have just been happy to beat the Patriots. But
no, that's why he would have been elite.
I'm glad we still got the first pick as of right now.
I would have built the Joe Flacco statue right in front of MetLife. just him heaving it downfield.
I would have bought his jersey.
Well, anyway, I feel like that wraps it up for football. I mean, the only other thing is
real quick. Just give top of your head. Who wins Thursday night? Colts Titans at Tennessee.
Titans.
Oh, at Tennessee?
Titans. Titans all day.
The Titans have a problem with y'all though. They do have
Colts, baby.
They
Colts,
have the
great
yips.
rush defense. Tennessee defense stinks. We'll be able to move the ball a little bit. Close game.
Hold on, we're gonna have a little fun here. We're gonna have a little fun here.
Colts by a field goal.
I know what you're gonna say. So we're gonna call someone live.
I'm gonna call it 27-17.
We're gonna call someone live and see what happens.
I could see us losing, but I'm going Indy. Tennessee can't take Indy. We know that.
Yo, JJ, this is Eric Sika from the Brofluent podcast. How are you doing today?
Chill out.
You're live.
Bro.
Yeah, you're live. I have a question. So I'm stuck. We're here with my brother Elvis, and we're here with Tom as usual. They can't hear you because they can hear you, but you can't hear them because they're in my headphones. Tom says, "What's up?"
What's up? It's good.
So they're asking me to pick the Titans Colts on Thursday. As the knowledgeable Titans fan, knowing the issues you have with the Colts, who should I pick?
Titans, baby, you know the way.
He just said, tighten up.
It's gonna be a good game. I like us to come over the top though.
All right, so I'm hearing we got to tighten up on Thursday.
Yes, sir.
All right. That's my pick. I'm going Titans.
Oh my god.
Appreciate you, JJ. We'll call you later, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right, bro. I'll see you. There we go. We had a live
Titans, bro.
live interaction. I'm going Titans. No, because you know what? I know he's gonna go Titans because he's a Titans fan, but I also know that he knows not to bet Titans against the Colts. So if he's telling me that, this is a little different.
Listen, Tennessee's the better team. I'll even admit that. But hey, I'm rocking with Indy by a field goal.
All right.
I'd love to know what the spread is on that game.
That is going to be a good game. We can talk about that when the spread comes out and stuff. What's the line right now?
I don't know. I'd have to leave to check my phone, but
shaking my head. Everyone gotta be on their phones. No one can have a laptop.
My computer's broke, bro. What do you want me to do?
See, I'm calling people live. Like I'm giving the fans what they want.
My computer fixed.
These guys just said it's been months, bro.
I believe the spread at first was like 3 or 2.5.
If it's like 2.5,
obviously the Colts way.
If it's
probably
2.5, I'm definitely taking Tennessee. If it's 2.5, I'm definitely taking Tennessee.
You think so? I'm taking Indy.
It's just because they're the favorite and 2.5 points. It's like it's too hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like I'm not doing that. If it's like 7.5 or like 6.5.
7.5.
It could be.
No, they'd never be that much of a favorite.
I don't know, bro. I mean, y'all kind of like.
Not against Indy, bro. The highest would be is 3. A division game, Vegas is too smart for that.
You think 3.5? I think 3.5. 3.5 would be a good spread for that game.
The thing is, Vegas won't give it a half point because that's If you say,
they wanted a push.
Yeah.
They want those games to push.
They'll say 2.5, and then the Titans will win by. And you'll take
1.5.
Yeah.
1.5.
1.5.
Titans.
See? The line's moving.
Oh, I'm taking the Titans.
Baby.
I'm taking the
I'm
Titans.
taking Titans all day.
If it's a pick 'em, I'm taking the Titans. Yeah.
The line is moving to the Colts, baby.
We'll see who's out. We'll see who's out.
Philip Rivers. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh,
I agree.
God.
Sucks.
Well, with that being said, now I feel like we can move into basketball.
Yeah.
And touch on a lot of things that just happened. Like really just happened that
Like,
we've just let
absolutely.
sit there. So the first thing is breaking news live on Brofluent for everybody
What?
here. Russell Westbrook wants a trade from Houston. James Harden has come out and said he does not want out of Houston despite the Westbrook news, and he is locked in for next season. Westbrook has also said he wants to return to his floor general role that he had in Oklahoma City.
Ooh, where are you doing that?
So, before we get into this, I have 2 words, and as I'm wearing my Brooklyn shirt, New York, New York.
Yes, you're right, but not
with
not
KD
the shirt you're wearing.
and Irvin.
No, he's going to the Knicks. He's not going to
Oh,
He's going to the Knicks.
They were also talking about CP3 or the Knicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have CP to the Suns too. That's also what we talked about.
Listen, my initial thoughts are when I saw Russ wanted out, I said, "Oh, Harden must have said, you know, I don't even want to be here anymore either. I'm about to dip." So they're both dipping, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I hear Russ is leaving, as you know, Russ is my favorite player. Has been my favorite player since he was on OKC. Me being a Thunder fan, I've always loved Russ. When KD left, broke my heart. Russ was there with me and all the other Thunder fans and had amazing seasons, right? But I think now it's kind of safe to say, and I hate saying this, that he's not a missing piece to like a team, right? He's not gonna he's not the guy, he's too inefficient to be, oh, he's our second star, we're gonna win something.
Mm-hmm.
Now I see, oh, the Clippers are interested. I don't think that's a fit at all, him on the Clippers.
I don't
I
like
think
that
it
either.
takes the ball away from Kawhi, and why would you want to do that, right? The Lakers are interested. That doesn't make sense with the Lakers. He cannot shoot. That takes the ball away from LeBron. Where I would love to see Russell Westbrook, and just like you said, he could do what he did in OKC for a couple seasons, head to the New York Knicks, the mecca of basketball, ball out, average triple-doubles, hell, maybe get another MVP because we know if he was in New York, everybody would be going crazy for Russ.
Oh, 100%, especially if we get to the playoffs.
And there's no doubt with that team that he is the guy. He's getting the ball whenever he wants. He's doing what he wants with it. And it would be awesome to see him in New York, and somebody good being in a Knicks jersey. Like, oh, wow. Like, oh, Knicks are on? I'll watch Russ get 40. Inefficient, but I'll watch him get 40, 10, and 10.
Russell in a Knicks uniform is bringing back the Terrell Speedwell days.
Yeah.
The Terrell Speedwell, when he was on there, he just had that spark that you know. They made the playoffs. They weren't going to win, but everybody was just loving the team for their grit. Because I remember I had the Marcus Camby jersey because I was like, I like this little, I like the little grittiness.
See,
I can agree with them with Russell in New York.
Yeah, I think it'd be dope. See, let me ask you, are they 8th seed with Russ?
It depends what you give up. I don't want if you have to keep the 8th pick.
I'll tell you. Say you give up 2 picks. Kevin Knox.
If you give up Kevin Knox, if you give up Kevin Knox, it's gonna be like when the Lakers traded for Pau Gasol and gave up Kwame Brown. Kevin Knox is a bum. No, I am very adamant about this. Kevin Knox is not good at basketball. The fact that he hasn't been dropped from Puma, let alone the Knicks, is a disgrace. That's number 1. Number 2, if I'm the Rockets, I'm expecting the draft compensation, I guess, that I gave up to get him. So I'm assuming you're going to ask for Mitchell Robinson, and the pick.
Yeah.
If I'm the Knicks, that's a very Knicks thing to do. And I guess I don't really have a problem with it because then you're going to make the playoffs, but you're not a real contender. Like, you're going to be Russ and RJ and Julius Randle. That's probably going to be fine because Mitchell's been hurt anyway, so it's not like he really plays.
Yeah.
But I would rather the Knicks trade that pick and Mitchell Robinson, Kevin Knox, and Frank to Golden State for the second pick give Golden State a bench and then let Golden State go take like a Killian Hayes or a Tyrese Halliburton if he's there. So
I agree.
I would rather do that and not get Russ. But, I mean, I don't want to see him get CP3 either. I'm cool if the Knicks stay there and say, hey, we're going to keep Mitch, we're going to keep RJ, and we're just going to go draft Killian Hayes and move forward because he's my biggest sleeper in the draft. That boy is nasty.
He's good.
Like, he played, shout out.
He reminds me of D'Angelo Russell.
He does. And shout out Justin Robinson. He's from the area. He played against him overseas. That boy is nasty, and he knows it. So, I mean, it's like it's weird. Like, the Knicks can go in several different directions, and I have no problem giving up Mitch. But, like, if you give up RJ for it, like, I really don't want to hear it.
Well, listen, being the Knicks, they'll get CP3, which makes no sense for them.
That makes no sense.
Yes.
But let me take it from this way. Now we look at it from Harden. Harden's coming out and saying
he's staying.
I'm still staying in Houston. That's fine. That's your town, your city, your team. But does this just show that he kind of just wants his own squad? Like, he just wants his own team. He wants to do his step backs. He wants to score a lot of points.
I guess you could say that, but I think he wants to stay there because he knows where else are you going to go that they're going to say, hey, we're going to give everybody else up so you can be the man. That's the only place he can do that.
There are some teams that would be very interested in James Harden. I would give up my whole team for James Harden if I was a franchise.
See, I have a rumor that I read earlier before the show I was going to bring up, and that's why I wore this jersey. This shirt, not jersey, but shirt. There's a rumor that if Harden was getting traded, he wanted to go to either Philly or Brooklyn. And if he went to Brooklyn, I could see Brooklyn putting a package together where they gave up Spencer Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert, or maybe not Dinwiddie, probably just Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, and a future pick. And then Kyrie, oh my God, Kyrie, James Harden, and Kevin Durant would be the nastiest three I think anyone could ever see.
What about the center, though?
DeAndre Jordan's still on the team. The money, I don't know if the money would work.
Hey,
that's the thing I'm worried about.
The center doesn't matter when you have Harden, Durant, and Kyrie.
And I think they also
you can sign somebody to block shots for you.
I like the idea. Don't get me wrong. I don't think Kyrie Harden works.
I don't think it's a great fit either, but when you have three guys of that talent, you take that chance.
And the reason is
right.
I can see Durant doing his thing because Durant's going to do his thing no matter what.
Yeah.
I don't see Kyrie playing the role that, and this is why I didn't like that they traded Russell away. Russell, although he could ball, he could also kind of sit back. Be like, I'm going to give you guys the ball. I got no problem giving you the ball. As much as I kind of like Irvin, I just don't see him doing that. They're just passing the ball. I think he needs him and Harden. It's like they need it to score or to be able to get into the game. And with Kyrie, I don't know. I like it, but at the same time, it's like.
Speaking of that, we do have new news that just dropped 4 minutes ago. Kevin Durant has reportedly been recruiting Serge Ibaka to sign with the Brooklyn Nets.
Serge Ibaka has also been rumored to the Lakers, which is an amazing fit for the Lakers. Would be an amazing fit.
You think
for the
he's
Nets.
an amazing? My question is, with Serge to the Lakers, if we go on Serge with the Lakers real quick, my thing with Serge with the Lakers is, AD has said he doesn't want to play center, so Serge is gonna come off the bench in relief. I don't know. I mean, if you pay him enough.
He was backing up in Toronto this year. He wasn't starting.
He wasn't starting. I thought Mark was sitting.
No, I think Mark
was hurt a lot. That's probably what Mark was hurt a lot, so he did start.
Serge normally was on the bench, and I think you tell him, listen, bro, we're ring chasing. You come in for how great of a fit is that? Shot blocker, can also shoot threes. I mean, it's great for the Nets too. He's great for any team that wants.
Oh yeah, the fit with the Nets I think is great because then you're gonna have your lineup is gonna be Kyrie, Karis, KD is gonna move from the 4 to the 3, Serge, and then DeAndre.
That's a good team.
And your bench, you're probably gonna let Joe Harris go then.
Oh, that's a sniper. You can't let him go.
No, you're gonna have to because you're gonna have to. Someone has to get paid. Because if you pay Serge, you can't pay Joe, and then you're gonna have Spencer, Karras, Torian Prince, and Jared Allen on your bench, and that's still fine.
Yeah.
Because that's your
Either way,
9-man
it's a good
rotation.
problem. Yeah.
It is a good problem. You have too many.
Yeah.
Better too many than too little.
Like Harris, that's my boy.
I like Harris too.
He's money, man. He is money.
He's an underrated defender too, I think.
He is. He's a solid player, man.
I would have kept. I would have been happy with keeping Russ with Durant.
Mm-hmm.
But you weren't gonna get KD without Kyrie though.
No. I get it. I'm just saying if that was if they had Durant already there and then Kyrie's like, hey, I want to go, and I had the option, I'd be like, hey, listen, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
I'll say this though with Kyrie, because I know a lot of net fans, right? Especially like just like maybe not super like casual fans, right? They're like they hear Kyrie's, oh, he's a ball hog, or he's not the best teammate.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, him and KD are tight, and look at him with LeBron. We found out they weren't best friends, but him and LeBron found a way to make it work, and they were in finals. I know LeBron's best player in the world, but they were in finals years after years. They won a ring together. He could do the same thing with Kevin Durant, even if they're not the best, the matchup like with each other.
Right, and with that being said, I think that's why you can see things about him being selfish when he doesn't have that guy he respects to that level. I think
100%.
Kyrie is just one of those players.
Not to interrupt you real quick, but like in Boston, he's like, Jaylen Brown, you ain't there yet. Tatum.
I think I don't think he respected Gordon Hayward like that, and I think the fact that he had Tatum and Brown as young puppies, it wasn't going to matter to him. So then when everyone was back, Tatum and Brown are kind of look at him like, who the fuck are you? Like, we won without you. We don't, like, you're not going to tell me what to do and be my leader now. So then when he goes to Brooklyn, it was good, and I know we were kind of losing. He was wilding at the beginning, but I think he was doing that because he looked around. He was like, well, KD's not here yet, so
this is my squad.
This is my squad. I'm gonna do what I want. Like I respect Karras and Spencer, but y'all are kind of my young bucks too, so it's kind of different. Level. Yeah, so it's very different. So I think now if he has a guy like KD around him, I think that's what makes the Nets so dangerous.
I also think people get it twisted with Kyrie. When he is cooking,
can't be stopped.
I mean,
don't get me wrong.
He's a top 3 point guard in the NBA when he's locked in, and
it's him, Steph, and Dame.
Yeah, he's damn good, and we've seen in the finals.
So now that you say that, now that you made that comment, him, Steph, and Dame, what do you leave? Right, because playing devil's advocate. Oh my God, I forgot his name. Kemba. Where do you leave him?
Kemba's outside the top 5.
He's like 6.
So all this hype and all this talk. The reason why I say it is because they, Boston was all adamant. Oh, Kyrie, you didn't do nothing. Oh, you didn't do this. Okay, you brought Kemba.
You saw the difference wasn't Kemba though. I think if they kept Terry Rozier, I think if they kept Terry Rozier, they would have done the same thing. Because the issue was they needed Kemba to step up more because Tatum needed more help than what Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart. But Marcus Smart was wilding, so it didn't even matter.
Agreed, but we could also say Tatum. Again, he's still almost a puppy, you could say.
He's
a top 15 player in this league, though.
Apart from being in Boston, that's one I followed him in Duke. I hated the fact that the Nets should have had him, but
he's amazing, no doubt. But we saw him have bad playoff games, and he's still a young puppy. That's going to happen. So we can't put it all on Kemba. I know Kemba wasn't great either, but Tatum had some games where you were like, "Oh, like that."
I agree. Go ahead, Elbiz.
No, I agree with what you're saying. Tatum had his moments and had some bad games. But that's the difference. Like, he had his moments. He had more good moments than he did bad.
Yeah.
Kemba was just where?
I think, and going off of that.
It wasn't like he had, Kemba had this game, he went off. And then, he had a couple games but then he had another 2 games where he went off. No, it was like, okay, so where is Kemba?
And going off of that, my thing is, I think we just saw that Kemba wasn't that next level, and he was who he was in Charlotte. Like, he was one of those players where he looked better because he was on a bad team.
Exactly.
And I think if I put my head like as a coach or GM, that's what I see Kemba as. I didn't see him coming to Boston and becoming next level. I'm saying this is the player we're getting.
Right. He had no business being compared to Kyrie.
If you're a Celtics
Exactly.
fan or a Celtics coach and you think, oh, Kemba's coming, we're upgrading over Kyrie because he's a better team player. No, that's not the case. That's not going to happen.
You're downgrading talent to improve chemistry,
Right,
and that's
that
fine
the whole thing
because
works better.
right, and it's not even that big of a downgraded talent. Like I don't want this to become the Kemba hate show. Kemba is easily a
Kemba's
top 10 point guard, but the issue is people were seeing him as that next level to Kyrie when he's really just that next level of Kyle Lowry.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the category he needs to be in for me.
If Kemba's your third best player, fourth best player, your team's a title contender.
And the funny thing is, I think he is the third best player on the Celtics.
Yeah, but like Tatum obviously won. Jaylen Brown.
I think Jaylen Brown he's a 20-point scorer. He was arguably an all-star last year.
But still not there yet where you're going, we got to play LeBron and AD, or hey, we got to play these.
Well, that's hard to compare to LeBron.
No, I know.
and
I'm just saying when you look at Tatum and Jaylen Brown, you're not like, those two are that's a top duo.
I'm looking at them as their next. Their next.
Exactly. They're not there yet.
Yeah, that's fair. And with that being said, too, talking point guards, Chris Paul is rumored to Phoenix, LA, and New York. Supposedly Phoenix is working on a deal to get him. With that being said, do we put Phoenix in a category? I feel like this brings different questions about Phoenix and different questions about Chris Paul. So for Phoenix, if he elevates Phoenix, does that make Chris Paul like his Hall of Fame case better? What does that mean for him? Because I think he's a top 5 point guard.
CP3 with Phoenix is a great fit. It's just what they need, but CP3 is already a Hall of Famer in my book. I hate when people bring it up. He's not. He's a top point guard of all time, top 5, top 10 point guard of all time. He's obviously a Hall of Famer. What he did with the Thunder this year just shows what he's still capable of.
Mm-hmm.
Put him in Phoenix. He has, he's an important role on that team, but I love it because he's not the main scorer. He's just spreading that ball around, getting it to Booker, getting it to Ayton, who's a monster. And they're a playoff team, probably 7 seed.
In the West, though? I feel like that's hard to say.
Maybe an 8 seed, 7 seed. I think they are because Phoenix almost made it this year.
They did almost make it this year, but I also want to say that with the 7th seed this year was Dallas. And Dallas is a top 4 seed in the East. So I'm saying that
year-to-year injuries play such a big role. So if you have no idea. But that team is in contention. I think this year we didn't say, the Suns are probably making the playoffs. We thought, they're going to miss it. Right. With CP3, we're saying that team, they're right there in the playoff picture.
And I think with that being said, and I'm going to move this to Elbiz too with the Chris Paul talk, I agree he's a Hall of Famer, but I'm saying if he goes to Phoenix and he ends up being that player and he elevates them to the playoffs, I think we take that him not winning a championship less important and we start saying he is a winner. And that just shows how hard it is to win a championship because he would have been a big piece on the Houston team that went to the conference finals. He was a big piece on the Thunder team that exceeded expectations. He'd be a big piece on Phoenix and New Orleans. And I think that would put him over a guy like John Stockton maybe and really put him in that conversation of, really top point guard of all time because you're going to have Magic, Steph, Isaiah, Stockton, CP. And then that puts him over guys like Steve Nash and Jason Kidd for me.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. 100%.
I can agree 100%. Yeah, no, I can agree there 100%. But he has to go to Phoenix. If he goes to New York, it's going to hurt him.
If he goes to New York and they make the playoffs,
that ain't gonna happen.
But that's the thing, though. That's the big. That's such a.
I don't want to say it's not gonna happen because we said OKC wasn't gonna happen.
But OKC.
You a fan, bro? You a fan, bro? He's trying to stamp that he said. No, hold on. Before you go, Elvis, he's trying to stamp that he said that the Thunder were going to the playoffs with Chris Paul. Okay,
but that's not true. The Thunder had a way better chance than the Knicks.
I mean, of course, yes, I agree.
So that's why I think I agree with you guys 100%. He doesn't need it. I think he's a Hall of Fame player with the career he's had. But I think if he goes to New York, it's gonna hurt him. It's just gonna hurt him. The New York franchise, the way it's being run, it's not good, and then it's just gonna ultimately fall on him because he's the star player. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, what's his name that just went to New York that they got last year? He's not so bad, but he went to New York and everybody right away was like, oh.
Oh, Julius Randle?
Yeah. People were like, what's this guy doing? You know, he's not a bad player. It's just
that I think that's just New York because he's not.
But if you put CP3 there, then you're putting like all the attention on CP3. Like, oh, this is our savior. Look at Melo. Melo's stock, even though he did good in New York, that hurt him. It hurt him a lot because they put so much. Yeah, he's gonna be our savior, and then Melo by himself was not gonna happen.
Yeah, my only. Go ahead, Tom.
In the beginning, Melo was fantastic in New York.
Yeah, he needed help.
We were one Roy Hibbert block away from going to the conference finals.
At the end is what people I was talking about where it looks bad for Melo. The last couple of years where they stunk, he didn't have a good relationship.
It was Phil Jackson.
Right.
Yeah, Phil Jackson, all that, and the ownership. And if you put CP3 there, CP3's an outspoken person. He's gonna go tell Dolan like, yo, my man, like, what's up? And that's gonna cause friction, and then it's not gonna because everybody knows Dolan's Dolan. Right. So nobody's gonna talk about Dolan. Everybody's gonna be like, well, CP3 went to New York. And look what he did.
I think the difference is with that is I think we're holding Russell Westbrook and Chris Paul as two very different players, and I know Chris Paul is a lot older, and I can understand hesitations there, but I feel like we just saw that Chris Paul might be better than Russell Westbrook, and I understand what Russell Westbrook does, but we did see the Rockets become less effective and have to change a lot of things, and the Thunder become more effective, and they basically had the same team. So I think with that being said, if I can say that Russ might make the Knicks an 8 seed, I think I can also say that Chris might make the Knicks an 8 seed.
Here's why I'll rebuttal that. I'm going to rebuttal that because we've seen Russ does better, and we said with nothing. When it's him and a bunch of guys is when he can play his game and dominate the ball.
Right.
If you hear kids screaming, by the way, it's my niece and my nephew, so just ignore it.
Good.
They're having fun. They're 2 years old. We see Russ dominate when he's by himself. If you put CP3 in that, we know CP3 is not as dynamic as Russell Westbrook. But you put CP3 in a system like OKC with good players around him, we see what CP3 does. Yes. He elevates his teammates, make a better team. So I think you're right that I think right now I would say CP3 is a better player than Russell Westbrook. But in a situation like New York,
I can get behind that. I can get behind that because I do understand that. Because then Russ is going to go do everything. And Chris Paul's not going to do everything. He's going to give me 16 and 10, and I'm going to have to rely on other people.
And the way Russ plays is a New York style of basketball. Russ is just going to go in there. You could have a losing season, but you go into the Madison Square Garden and just do what Russ does and dunk the ball and start yelling. The crowd is going to love you, and everybody's going to be like, yes. They're not going to say we're going to play off. They're going to say, yes, New York basketball is back. Yes. And everybody's happy. With that sense, Russ in New York makes a lot more sense for him than CP3. I think CP in the Suns, that'll help him out. It'll definitely make the playoffs, I think, and it'll help his career a lot more.
I agree.
Like Hall of Fame career.
And with that being said, I think it's fair to close it up. We've been on here for a minute.
Yeah,
we have been going at it. When y'all get this, it is going to be heavily edited. We've gone through technical difficulties, sound issues, recalls. It has been a battle to come back, but we are here for y'all. Yeah, like come on, like the Wi-Fi got COVID, like things were going on, man. Wi-Fi got COVID, man.
It was tough, huh?
Right, but I feel like this is a great way to come back on Veterans Day again. Yes, thank you, Elbiz, for coming on. Shout out to JJ for answering the call. We'll have him on soon. Tune in very soon. We'll be having another special guest. D1 athlete, former quarterback. You'll get his name when we hear him. We don't want to drop anything. It might it might be Johnny Manziel, bro. You really don't know who we're bringing here, right? All right. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all next time.
All right, fellas. Take care.
All right.